Every single day for 20 years, she sat at that bus stop, rain or shine, snow or scorching heat, waiting. But here's what nobody knew. The son she was waiting for had been declared dead 15 years ago. So why was she still there? And what happened on the day he finally appeared? This story will break you in ways you never expected. Her name was Margaret Chen, and if you passed her on Bennett Street between 3 and 6 p.m., you'd see her there on that worn wooden bench, her hands folded in her lap, her eyes fixed on every bus that pulled up to the curb. Most people thought she was just another lonely old woman with nowhere else to go. Some pitied her, others avoided eye contact. But nobody knew the truth about why she couldn't leave. It started on a Tuesday in September 2 decades ago. Margaret's son, Daniel, was 23 years old, working 2 jobs to save money for medical school. That Tuesday morning, he kissed her forehead, told her he loved her, and said he'd be home by 6. He took the number 47 bus downtown for his shift at the hospital. Margaret watched him walk to that very same bus stop. She never saw him again. The police searched for months. They found his backpack in an alley 3 miles away, contents scattered, wallet missing. No witnesses, no leads, no body. Daniel Chen had simply vanished. After 5 years, they told her to accept that he was gone. After 10 years, they suggested a memorial service. After 15 years, they issued a death certificate. But Margaret refused to sign it, because 3 days after he disappeared, she found something in her mailbox that changed everything. A single button from Daniel's favorite blue jacket, wrapped in a torn piece of paper with 2 words, "Still waiting." No postmark, no return address. The police dismissed it as a cruel prank. But Margaret knew better. She could feel it in her bones. Daniel was trying to tell her something. So she made a decision that would define the next 2 decades. She would go to that bus stop every single day and wait for him to come home. Would you do that? Would you sacrifice 20 years of your life on nothing but faith and a button? Every day at 3 p.m., Margaret would leave her apartment, walk 4 blocks to Bennett Street, and sit on that bench. She brought a thermos of tea, an umbrella, and a photograph of Daniel in her coat pocket. She'd watch every face that stepped off every bus, searching for those familiar brown eyes, that gentle smile. Her sister Ruth begged her to stop. "You're wasting your life," Ruth would say, tears streaming. But Margaret would just shake her head and return the next day. Her friends drifted away. Her job at the library let her go when she refused to work past 3 p.m. She lived on Social Security, spending almost nothing, eating almost nothing, existing only to wait. Years blurred together. Margaret's hair turned white, her hands developed a tremor, but she never missed a day. Not when she had the flu, not when her sister died, not when a hurricane evacuated half the city. People began to tell stories about her. The waiting woman, the bus stop lady. Some said she was a ghost herself, cursed to wait forever. But here's what nobody knew. Margaret wasn't just waiting. She was investigating. And every few months, she'd receive another sign, another button in her mailbox with different messages. Getting closer. Don't stop. Almost home. The police insisted it was a hoax, but Margaret knew someone was watching. Someone knew where Daniel was. On year 17, something changed. A man started appearing at the bus stop around 4:30. He never got on or off a bus. He'd just stand there in a dark coat and sunglasses, even on cloudy days. After a week, Margaret realized he was watching her. She confronted him. "Who are you?" The man flinched, then smiled, a sad, broken smile, and whispered, "Someone who understands." Then he walked away. That night, Margaret found another button with a chilling message. "He's protecting you. Don't trust the smile." Her blood ran cold. Who was protecting her? Daniel? And from what? For the first time in 17 years, Margaret felt genuine fear. Have you ever felt close to the truth but terrified of what you'd find? Year 18 brought the harshest winter in decades. Snow piled 3 feet high. The city advised elderly residents to stay indoors, but Margaret trudged through drifts to that bus stop, her fingers numb, breath painful. That evening, as snow fell in thick curtains, something extraordinary happened. A bus pulled up, not the regular route, but a charter bus with darkened windows. The door opened. A figure stepped out, tall, wearing a heavy coat with the hood up, face obscured. He stood perfectly still, looking directly at Margaret. She stood up, heart hammering, and whispered, "Daniel." The figure took one step toward her, then another. Their fingers were inches apart when suddenly headlights flooded the street. A car screeched to a stop between them. Two men in suits jumped out, grabbed the hooded figure, and forced him into the vehicle. 10 seconds. Margaret screamed, running toward the car, but it was already speeding away. She collapsed on the sidewalk, sobbing. No witnesses, no cameras. But Margaret knew who that was. Daniel wasn't missing because he wanted to be. He was being kept away. The next morning, there was a letter in her mailbox. "Margaret, stop coming to the bus stop. They know you've seen too much. Daniel is alive, but if you keep waiting, they'll take you too. Forget your son or lose your life." Her hands shook. Forget her son? She'd rather die. But what if by waiting, she was putting Daniel in more danger? For the first time in 20 years, Margaret stayed home. 3 p.m. came and went. 4, 5, 6. She felt like she was suffocating. That night, at 2 a.m., there was a soft knock at her door. 3 gentle taps. She looked through the peephole and saw darkness. "Who's there?" A familiar voice whispered, "Mom, it's me. Please open the door." She fumbled with the locks. The door swung open, and there he was, Daniel, older, thinner, with scars she didn't recognize, and eyes that had seen terrible things. But it was him. Real. Alive. She pulled him inside. Daniel told her everything. He'd witnessed a crime involving powerful people 20 years ago. They'd taken him, held him in places without names, moved him constantly. They told him if he contacted anyone, they'd kill her. So he found another way. The buttons. The messages. He'd escaped 7 times. They caught him 7 times. But he never stopped trying. "I'd see you at the bus stop," he said, tears streaming. "They'd drive me past sometimes just to torture me. And I'd see you waiting. Every single day. It kept me alive, Mom." Margaret held his hands, unable to speak. But then Daniel said urgently, "We have to go. We have maybe an hour before they track me here." Margaret grabbed the photograph she'd carried every day for 20 years, and together they walked out into the night. They're still running. Somewhere in a city I can't name, there's a bus stop where an old woman and her son sit together every evening, holding hands, finally reunited. They don't stay in one place long. But for the first time in 20 years, Margaret isn't waiting alone. Here's what this story teaches us. Faith isn't foolish, even when everyone says it is. A mother's love doesn't calculate odds. It simply persists. It waits. It believes. Margaret lost 20 years of normal life, but gained something most people never experience: the absolute certainty that love is stronger than time, stronger than fear. Would you have waited? Could you have held on when everyone told you to let go? If this story moved you, hit that like button right now. Subscribe, because we bring you real stories about real human courage every single week. Share this with someone who needs to remember that miracles happen to those who refuse to give up. Tell me in the comments, what's the longest you've ever waited for someone you love? Margaret waited 20 years. What's your story? Don't give up on the people who matter. They might be trying to find their way back to you right now.